Welcome to the Speak Life Project. Have you ever seen an old campfire at dawn? Not much to look at. Just a pile of gray, quiet ash. The kind that makes you think the night stole the flame for good. But you see, if you get down low, like real low, and rake a stick through it, gentle like, you'll see it. A flicker. A heartbeat. Glowing red like it's been waiting all along. And friend, that's your heart. I know it's been a while. The world's heavy. Life keeps piling on. And somewhere along the way, you stop feeling the fire you once had for your Creator. But hear me when I say this. The fire never left you. It just went quiet. And all it takes is one breath from heaven. One holy wind to stir the ash. And the same fire that once lit up your spirit, it'll burn again. Steady, sure, stronger than before. You see, there's a lie that creeps in real quiet like. Doesn't shout. It doesn't storm on in. It just waits for you to get a little tired. For the days to blur together. For the dreams to dim just a little. And then it whispers. You've lost it. You're not who you used to be. Look at all the things you're doing wrong. You've got to get back to doing what you did before. You're not the same person. Maybe there was a time you woke up burning with purpose. Prayed those bold prayers, worshipped with tears in your eyes and the hands lifted high at church. But now, you don't feel much of anything. Simply just go through the motions. Smile when you have to, wave when you have to, give the nod. You play church. And you play it pretty well. But deep down in your spirit, you wonder if that part of you will ever come back. But here's the thing. Fire doesn't die that easy. Not when it's fueled by God's own breath. You see, the enemy wants you to believe that it's gone. But I've seen it time and time again. Because what God starts, He finishes. And what He lights, no darkness can put out. You ever read what Paul told young Timothy? What'd he say? He said, fan into flame the gift of God that is inside of you. He didn't say, go find a new fire. He didn't say, start over. He said, fan it. And that means that the flame was still there, just waiting to be stirred. Buddy, that is you. You don't need to chase some mountaintop feeling or chase after what you once were, because the Spirit of God doesn't forget how to burn, and it hasn't forgotten you. The fire in you, it is not dead. It's just resting. Sure, it's hidden beneath the noise. It's buried under the busyness, but it's still there. I bet you can feel it now, flickering a little as you hear these words. You see that longing you feel? That right there is proof that God has more of himself to reveal to you. Those embers, they're waking up. So don't try to force it. This isn't about shouting your way back. It's not about pretending you're on fire when you feel cold inside. No. This is quieter than that. This is the kind of moment where you sit still enough to hear your own heartbeat. Where you let God sit beside you. And you ask him, Father, when did I stop tending the flame? Show me where I lost sight of your eyes. And then you wait. Not for lightning, not for fireworks, just for breath. Because all a fire needs is to blow on it a little bit, and the fire will respond. And when the breath of heaven touches what's buried deep down inside of you, even the coldest ash remembers it was once a burning flame. See, friend, God's not waiting for you to fix yourself. God's waiting for you to make room. Room for the hush. Room to hear his whisper. Room for the Spirit of the living God to breathe on you again. This reminds me of the story of an old trapper a long time ago. You see, he lived alone in a quiet little cabin deep in the woods. Now every fall, like clockwork, he'd chop and stack his firewood. And every winter, that old stove would glow warm through the coldest of nights. You see, the trapper knew something most folks forget. Winter doesn't care if you're ready. It comes when it comes. And he knew better than to waste time complaining about it. Now, while others were grumbling about the cold, he worked. While they cursed the storms that would come, he trusted the stove. Now, that old cast iron stove, it didn't look like much, but it had never failed him. Year after year, it held the heat. Through blizzards so cold, it'll freeze the hairs on the tip of your nose. Through whiteouts so thick you'd get lost outside your front step. It burns slow and steady. Not flashy, not loud, just faithful. Here's the thing. The stove doesn't forget how to burn. Doesn't lose its purpose. Just needs to be fed. That old trapper, he's not so different from us. But when we shift our focus from feeding the stove to complaining about the storms, that's when we let things go cold. That's when that fire slowly dies. The embers glow, they rest, and they wait. You see, the storms, they're going to come, whether we want it or not. But the fire knows what to do. It's just waiting for you. Because, friend, let me tell you, you are not forgotten. You're not used up. You're not too far gone. You are still a child of God. You're still the object of God's love. That desperation you feel, that hollow place that used to be that fire, don't respond to that as failure. That's the Father. That's Him whispering to you. Because you were made to burn for His presence. You're not created to be limping through life, just barely getting by. You are a carrier of the Spirit of the Almighty God. You're a living altar, a spark waiting to rise. And when you let Him breathe again, those embers, they turn into flames. And when that catches fire again, everything changes. So stir it up just a little. You don't need to set the whole world on fire. You just need to make space for the breath of God. Seek His face, not because you should, but because somewhere in those eyes, in the eyes of Christ, there is a spark waiting to set you ablaze. Whisper His name again and again and again, like it's the first time. What if the Father's not asking you to climb the mountain right now, but to sit beside Him at that fire again? What if He just wants your company? Not your answers, not your effort, just you, raw and imperfect. You see, the fire never left you, it just went quiet, but it's still there. It's glowing under those ashes. So rise slowly. Let Him tend the flame with you, not for a show, but for friendship. Because at the end of the day, all that will remain is a God on the throne, child in His arms, and love in His eyes.